Alright, for today's lesson we are going to learn how to read a bar graph. For this example, I surveyed our third grade classroom and I asked students what their favorite colors were. And this bar graph right here shows that information. The first thing we want to do when we're answering questions about a bar graph is figure out what the scale is. And the scale is over here on this graph. You can see it counts by numbers here and it counts by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, that's counting by twos. So the scale on this graph is 2. That's what we're counting by. And that means we can tell the values of the bars over here. We can see red, it goes halfway between 2 and 4. Well, there's only one number, whole number between 2 and 4, and that is 3. So we know that 3 students had red as their favorite color. Green stops on this line here at 8. So we know that there are 8 students whose favorite color was green. Blue is on this line here. We follow it over and we can see that that means that there are 6 students who liked blue. And purple right here, halfway between 8 and 10. What's between 8 and 10? That's right, it is 9. Great, so now we know how many students liked each color. We can tell very quickly that purple was the most popular color and red was the least popular color. Now I have a couple questions that are typical questions that we would ask about bar graphs. Okay, so first question, how many more kids liked purple than liked red? So how many more students liked purple than liked red? So we know there are 9 students who liked purple, and that 9 is here, that represents the 9 students. And we know that 3 students liked red. And what we're trying to find is the difference between this bar and this bar. What is the difference between 9 and 3? And when we look for the difference, we know that we subtract. Okay? So 9 take away 3, we should all know is 6. So this means that 6 students liked purple more than they liked red. Alright, another typical question that you would see, second question here, how many kids were surveyed? So that basically means how many kids total were asked this question about favorite colors. So we look here and we know all the totals because we wrote those down earlier, so I'm just going to put them up on the screen there, 3, 8, 6, and 9. And if we're going to find the total of how many kids were surveyed, then we are going to add. And when we add 3 plus 8 plus 6 plus 9, we know that 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 8, that's 23, plus 3, 23, 24, 25, 26. So we know that altogether that there were 26 kids surveyed. So this is one other bar graph I just wanted to show real quick. This is how many pets our third graders have and what types. So, you know, dogs is obviously the most popular here, horses, then cats, then birds. First thing I want to look at here is scale. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we're counting by 5. So we know the scale of this graph is 5. There's a couple other things we can tell about this graph. We can see that horses and dogs end right on that line. So we know that horses are 20 and dogs are 25. We can see that cats goes above that 15, but we don't have any indications. Is that a 16? Is that a 17? There's a couple different numbers between 15 and 20. So that's, we could probably estimate about 16 on that one, but when you come down here to birds, is that 7? Is that 8? 9? You know, it's kind of ambiguous there. It's kind of, doesn't really tell us what we need to know. So we could estimate again, probably about 7, maybe 8. But we would have a hard time getting an exact number without any little secondary lines in here. But something we could do, how many more dogs than horses? Because we see on the line we have 25, we have 20. So what's the difference between 25 and 20? Well, we know first of all we're counting by 5, so that distance there is 5. So 5 more people have dogs than horses. It's an easy question you could find there. As for a total, you might have to estimate a little bit. You would add your 20 plus your 16 plus your 25 plus your 7 or 8, whatever you would assume that was, and that would give you the total number of people surveyed. So it's just, bar graphs are just a really nice, quick way to kind of show your data and your information in a visual representation.